Tamari, y'all. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey here in Morocco at Northwest of Maxim. How are you? Guys, I'd like to welcome you to our AstroCivics Sunday 33, actually. That's what it is. I think I got to change the title, guys. Matter of fact, let me go and do that now. I might have put 31 by mistake here. So let me go and change that. How are you guys doing? Are you guys ready to go over chapter 41 today? So it's AstroCivics Sunday 33 on chapter 41. All righty. So we're about to have a super duper fun time with this. And let me go and change the title actually right now on this. Give me just one momento. Maybe I can go over here and check the chat, see which one of you guys are in here right now. See how many of you guys are in here right now. And would like to, let me see, guys, would also like to just make sure, like I said, yeah, it's supposed to say 33, not 31. So let me fix that to a 33. Interesting, because chapter 41 has 33 minutes to it, guys. So that is what it is. And there's our beloved brother, well, please. Brother Sean Aleem L. Islam, broski doski, all is well.
Islam, bro.
Islam. Yeah, all is well, man. I'm just changing the title here. Might as well just do all the editing on the fly. And let's see who's all in here with us already. Right? I'm gonna wait on you guys to come on in. However, let me just do this right now. And that, yeah, by the way, it's just me in the YouTube right now, but it's all good, guys. We want to make sure that you actually get the message pertaining to chapter 41 so that you are all the way good, right? So now let me go and choose the proper file for our thumbnail here. All righty, Brother Sean. You did your review on chapter 41, you know, as I've done also, man. What do you think the people will get out of this today once we're complete?
Man, it's so much in there to look. Like I had to pick it up and look again because I read it through it before, and I think just today alone, I probably read through it about 3 or 4 times, and yeah, it's like not letting one's passions, rule over you. And then it's kind of like, just knowing how the swing of the pendulum is going to go. Like, there's good, there's bad, but, as long as one can focus in on the good, then one can, dodge the bad, so-called bad. But even when it is so-called bad, like, just training our minds to see the good on the inner world, as we know that like external world is not really as it seems. And just doing that mental training. It's nothing that's done in one night, but it's like a process with all the chapters. Like, all the chapters are good to read through, and whatever you feel, especially like whatever you feel called out to read, right? When it's like I want to read my holy Koran, it's like, what chapter? And I'm like, oh, okay, chapter 9. Well, let me go to chapter 9, or chapter 28. It's like, and then you go to it, you're like, this is like exactly what I needed.
Yeah, I mean, I know for me, it's kind of like how I got the gist of chapter 44 is like, exert reason, be prudent. And it reminds me of like a lot of times whenever we come across anything, no matter what, and it seems like if someone wants to perpetuate an issue or a problem, and I'd be like, yo, I'm resolution minded. Like, I don't have time to keep harping on the problem or the issue or the negative. I'm all about resolution. And that's what I think, is one of the gems for me in the beauty in reading chapter 41 and going over them. And just Quran 101 devotional period is just good just for people to have, for themselves, when there is no one else around, there's no YouTube or anything like that, just to, have this for yourself, especially those of you that are sincerely Moorish American. And, it's not about, a lot of the fluff that's all over the internet and people trying to, have this by changing that and these things of that nature. And it's like, once you sincerely study, no one can really change your heart You know what I mean? Just like they can change
Mhm.
your descendant nature also. So with that being said, it's just the beauty in it all, honestly. Just a real beauty in it all. To see that for me, chapter 41, you know, out of the 33 minutes that are there, that particular degree, right? Degree 41, 33 minutes total, or we say chapter 41, 33 verses, right? What we'll see is being resolution minded is much better than, you know, being sorrow minded, grief minded, perpetuating the problem or the issue minded, you know, and that's what I trust that everyone will be able to gather from our presentation today. And soon we will go in on our invocation. And I think Brother Sean, you're leading us in on the invocation. And if I'm not mistaken, is that correct? Or is it me? It's me.
It'd be you. I'm the first letter to be read,
Okay. Got you.
and then
So I'll lead us.
I'll close out.
Indeed. So I'll lead us on our invocation. And just going to grab these tags real quick from our previous Sundays that we've been doing for our AstroCivics Sundays. And let's see. Anything other than that, man, I'm really enjoying the devotional and going from chapter 48 to 1. And just us being able to go over this. And soon, you know, I will make playlists of all of the videos we've ever done from AstroCivics Sundays. Even if there's specific AstroCivics Sundays like these Koran Devotionals, that'll be a separate playlist itself. All of our Intuition Mondays, all of our 7-day tropical medical astro weather reports, and all of our impromptu improvs also, right? Even though some of the impromptu improvs are like, you know, their specific series themselves also. However, I think the impromptu improvs will just probably keep all in their own little playlist. All right. So, Brother Sean, Brother Braveheart, what do you see? Right? What do you also see being a benefit in just, you know, for you in your experience, like thus far, and experiencing the devotional portion into being into your Holy Koran? What is it for you?
It's always a good refresher. Just, you know, I can just, you know, speak for me, but also like but collectively speak is like, you know, we'll read through it and, you know, we'll have, you know, life happen, right? And we're, you know, doing different things and, you
Mhm.
know, type things we kind of, you know, might forget it. I want to say forget about, not really be into it and own it as that. So, you know, just to now do this and, you know, start from 48 and go all the way back. It's good, you know, that it's every Sunday, you know, some days here, you know, I'll definitely will just, as I said earlier, just which would be a good chapter, and I'll do it like that. And then also
Mhm.
just doing some other works behind the scenes, you know, with this too, with some ideas that I have that it's gonna be super awesome by the time we're done. You know, doing this Quran countdown. It's really good. Like I said, the prophet said, all we need is the circle 7 and the 1-on-1. So then in my mind, it's like, all right, you know, of course, you know, we do what we do, right, when it comes to the jurisprudence, lawful, thing else, but, you know, like the main two, like the two pillars. So it's like, all right, let me continue to, you know, grasp my concepts, refresh my memory. And every time I go read a chapter that I read over, I see something else. It's just like astrology chart, you know, even though
Mhm.
we know we're astrologers and we know we've seen our charts multiple times, but and when you go look at something, it's like, oh snap, I ain't even look at it, or it's like something new. So our journey, absorbing it and then being that. So it's really beautiful. And it's really a great thing to be going through it, like, you know, reading it and then, you know, you putting your input in here and there and me as well. Because folks need it because um most folks probably might even be skipping over the Quran or not even really Quran, however you like to say it, right? And not really get the truly the lessons necessary that's, you know, vitally important, you know, the 1-on-1 and the Quran is the most
Gotcha.
important too. So, you know, just like I said, going through that, reading, understanding, And just changing your mind about things and your sight, right? Because once you start to read these different things, like especially when we know that we have a loved one pass, it's always, go read chapter 4. And once you really read chapter 4 and really get it, it's like you really can't, have that same look or mindset when it comes to, quote unquote death. It's like, I am doing that. Let me honor that, and be that. And, one of my favorite chapters, chapter 12, Jesus teaching the people about eternal happiness. And I think it's like chapter 9 when Jesus and what's the name? Read the holy books. Can't think of the name off Appalachian off top, but I'll go look really fast.
I think
Jesus
that's
and Barada. That's 11.
Yeah, Barata is different. I wonder if that's
9 was
9 is when
he taught inequality, with the courtesans and the thieves and all that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what 9 is. Yeah. Which is 9 and 12. I gotta admit, those are like my first two that I was like, because 9 is basically, you're sitting here talking about these thieves, courtesans, and extortioners, and when you do these things in the mind, you are these beings. And in chapter 12, like you said, is basically on people like, show me the Allah in the heart that I can meet, and it's like, once he explained that, with the parable of the miner, MINER, right? One who knows the geological physicalities, one who digs in the earth is the same as one who digs in their heart, metaphysically speaking. And that's the beauty in chapter 12. And that's why, for us to even quote those beauties and then see them in a parallel fashion reflected, in other areas, other ways, other, portions, other chapters in the Koran, is just, it gives further insight. It gives further illumination to, how we can just be much more and more prudent. I gotta admit, like for me, my experience these last 8.5 years pertaining to more science, it just made me one who is so resolution minded that, even when speaking with my biological mother the other day, because we recently dealt with someone transitioning and, one of our loved ones. And she had asked me a certain question, and I'm like, that's not who you're referring to. I've technically, quote unquote, died to that type of mindset. I don't even, think in that fashion. And it reminds me of that, a lyric that Drake said, to say that you knew me means there's a new me. So, even those that, that we descend from, our mothers, they do not know who we are right now. They only have in their mind a record called memory pertaining to something that they have observed sometime in the past.
Right.
Because you know what I mean? And so that's why I enjoy the fact that I am thoroughly happy that Prophet Noble Drew Ali found me, and we can, based on the instruction given by Brother Taj, to meet Prophet Noble Drew Ali in his literature. And for me, in my experience, I really think I'm there with him. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's not in a dogmatic fashion. It's not like in an imaginary sky daddy fashion. It's like I'm meeting the mind. That's what I'm saying, right? And in meeting the mind, it's like I have no need to desire something else. You know what I mean? Outside of meeting the mind, because once I met the mind and I keep Prophet Noble Drew Ali at the forefront pertaining to my mind, now I can conduct myself accordingly based on the principles that are thoroughly outlined in the precepts and maxims that are throughout the Quran. All righty. And we do know oral statements and prophecies, number one, in which I know when it comes to the oral statements and prophecies by Sheikh Sharif Abdullah, there's so much controversy around that. I know that we have to use discernment, right? We're using discernment. to see what rings in our spirit that allows us to, grow, effectively, instead of getting into the politics of, well, there was a guy who called himself a reincarnated prophet, which we're intelligent enough to know that no one can be that's still a grown being. Like, what you are like the show Travelers, and you like Prophet Noble Ali transition, and then you transition, and now his consciousness is within your body now, as like you're the host for his consciousness or something. Well, if you want to look at it like that, then who isn't a prophet? Because a prophet is a thought of Allah manifested in flesh, and an angel is a thought of Allah manifested in human flesh. So we're all prophets, we're all angels. We're just not Prophet Noble Ali that established, after reminding us about, our ancient culture, by establishing the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, after actually establishing the Old Canaanite Temple in 1913, right? And after the, 1913, about 1925, we're looking at, a civic organization, Moorish Holy Temple of Science. All righty. And then by the time you get to about 26, 27, you see what's culminating is the Moorish Science Temple of America, by requirement pertaining to the Secretary of State for the Illinois State Republic at that time, which is Lewis Lincoln Emerson, who, had basically asked again, that's what a requirement, right? So he again asked the mind pertaining to Prophet Noble Ali to look into the affidavit from the laws of 1872 for the Religious Corporation Act, in order to have the civic organization adopt as its corporate name, its religious corporate activity name, which is Moorish Science Temple of America. And that's the essence that I get, alrighty, pertaining to Prophet Noble Ali, meeting him in his literature and not allowing anybody who is from some unnecessarily, needed Masonic order that wants to control the Moorish Divine and National Movement by putting a comma, INC, or whatever other operations for Moorish Science Temple of America, to try to put a cap on the growth pertaining to those whose this is you guys' birthright. So I trust in the very near future we'll be able to do some things for the people, and we will be divinely, and are still now divinely protected against those that are seeking to thwart that. Because when Prophet Noble Ali was on the scene, there were people in the temple on some BS. All right. Because if it wasn't, when he's in July 20th was the great meeting. July 20th, 1928, when you look at our authority on the back pertaining to the 101 questions for Moorish Americans, that's taking place July 20th. All right. It's recorded the 1st August at about 1400 hours and 52 minutes with Salome Jaskonakich, who's the county recorder for Cook County out there near the Illinois State Republic. All righty. Because it'll tell you 2:52 p.m. on August 1st, 1928, when it was recorded, when the evidence pertaining to that meeting, July 20th, 1928, was recorded 1st August, 1928 at 2:52 post meridian central. All righty. So from the 20th July, just 5 months and 28 days later, on January 18th, 1929, Prophet Noble Ali is commanding that the letter to be read in every meeting. Dear brother, Islam, I'm glad to know that I have few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. It's a host of jealousy about me in the movement from the same people of our side of the nation that thought it was a joke and unreal, right? Mm-hmm. He's writing that 5 months and 28 days later. It's not even half a year. So there were people there challenging Prophet Noble Ali at that time. And that's how I meet Prophet Noble Ali in his literature. And that's why I've said before, and it's been challenged by some people that I just think whether they're agents or not, their mindset is not at a level to comprehend the meeting that I'm having with Prophet Noble Drew Ali when I say, if you can't go back to the mindset pertaining to your ancient foremothers and forefathers, at least start with Prophet Noble Drew Ali's mindset there in the 1920s. If you can at least start there, then that might help you go even further back. Because that's how I did it for myself. And that's why I comprehend these lessons without having some being calling themselves a grand sheik who's probably secretly a part of some, you know, some Masonic lodge or organization that's trying to keep me under his thumb. Now, I'm not knocking you guys that's out there that's under some guy's thumb and you're under his hypnosis. That's not my path in life. That's not my brother's path in life. Is that clear? I trust that's clear. I'm open for correction, Brother Sean, at any time. Check in the chat. Brother Derek Blash Bay says, Islam, my brothers. Islam, Brother Derek. And Midnight Ma'ad 86 says, peace and balance. Peace and greetings to you, Midnight. Mother Janelle Blash L says, Islam, brothers. Islam, beloved mother. JLV. All right. Jennifer Lynn, she says, peaceful Sunday greetings, everyone. Indeed. Peaceful greetings to you also, JLV. All righty. So I guess I already shared it out to Lawful Living, of course. I guess what I can do also, since I shared this link out to Lawful Living, let me put it in our Instagram chat to make sure it's there so I can share out to Facebook as we do what we do. Brother Sean, is there any other wisdom you would like to add to our introduction here before I begin with our invocation in to go into chapter 41?
Yeah, just read the Quran, and once again, just becoming aware that, you know, we are all our own, you know, grand sheiks. I think it's just been a training and doctrine to really look for beings outside of ourselves. You know, nothing wrong with learning from ones who have those positions, but if they're not giving you room to grow, right, you know, they're not taking you out of Sunday school, right, the children's Sunday school, and taking you into the adult version of things, then that's a problem, right? So once again, that's just the point of Gemini season: 1, studying for yourself; 2, learning from others. And then, you know, once you really, let's say, get that for yourself, that discernment, that intuition, you know, I think it'll be clear on who's questionable and who's not. But it all just boils down to, you know, trusting yourself first, and using discernment, intuition and discernment, you know. And they be like, RD, what, intuition, discernment? You know, but to make a joke out of that. But yeah, just study the lessons. That's really about it.
Yeah, I will say that, you know, because we do what we do online and the way that we do it without browbeating the people at all in any way, shape, or form for them to reach in their purse or their pocket to give finance to us, even though we mentioned at the end of a lot of our lives, we tell them be themselves and donate. We're not necessarily even saying that to us. We're saying that, you know, you can donate your time to someone in need that's closer to you physically. You know, maybe someone near you needs, you know, their child needs help with a certain subject, and, you know, they're not really good at English, and you have a language arts major or something, and you can help them with language arts, or, you know, that. So donate isn't just giving the 7 heel star. It would be accepted. However, also we know that we're in a mind frame that we see a bigger picture, and there will come a time that we know that the people will super support us. Alrighty, because we're going to be one of obviously the few that will not utilize your finance to, you know, take care of ourselves, you know, in that fashion, where we'll be utilizing the finance as planned to make sure that there's land, to make sure there's a temple and school, and then we'll begin building the Moorish community so there are houses built, you know, like we see different Jewish communities and things of that nature, so to speak, so-called Jewish communities, right? The Khazarians or the Ashkenazis, right? So with that being said, I trust that what we do here is beneficial to you all and gives you some perspective on how to grow. And we are aware also of those that are under some Masonic oath. You know what I mean? You know, they're under some oath, I guess, or whatever, to block these lessons. So what they'll try to do is learn our style and try to speak like us, just to try to gain the trust of people that may not know. And we trust that you guys will be able to use your gift pertaining to discernment to not fall for that. All righty. So let me go and share the screen here. And we're going to do our invocation in. We're here at the Moor Holy Temple of Science Administrative Functions, all right? Book pages 48 and 49. Page 48, we see handsomely standing due guarding his Moorish Sharif's Fez, Prophet Noble Drali. And our invocation in term, the Moorish American prayer, right? Is just beneath his feet that is on a 45. So guys, we're going to face east, which is metaphysically symbolic to going within. We're going to extend all 5 appendages on the left hand, just to index in the middle on the right while we face east. And you can repeat after me either aloud or in your heart. Islam. Islam, Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My God.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Noble Drew, Ali.
Noble Drew, Ali.
All righty. Ameen. It's always fun, right? All right. So with that being said, guys, let's move forward, right? In making this happen. Let me zoom on out. Go to the first letter to be read in every meeting and yield the floor to Brother Sean. He's going to read from pages 84 and 85 from the Moor Holy Temple of Science Administrative Functions. And I yield the floor to you, bro. Islam.
Islam. The following is a letter written by Prophet Noble Drew Ali on the 18th day of January, 1928, Anno Domini, or AD, as some would say. He commanded that it be read before every meeting. All right, from Administrative Functions, Moorish Science Temple of America, Home Office, 3603 Indiana Avenue. Noble Drew Ali, founder, Chicago, Illinois, January 18th, 1929. Who say quoi? To be proclaimed in every meeting. Dear brother, it's on. I'm glad to know that I have few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as an American citizen, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they themselves may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moor that contribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it bad. Never before have I needed finance as badly as I do at present, that I may shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility, quote unquote. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without me, the prophet, being the head. It has been proven by my work in which I have performed in the last few months, because I was at the governor's inauguration to represent the Moorish Divine and National Movement, and I will be at the inauguration of President Hoover for the same cause. No, Drew, Ali, Slime.
Islam. We're going to go to our second letter to be read in every meeting, and it comes from the Moorish literature, excerpts from the Moorish Guide newspaper, pages 12 and 13. This particular one is from rvbaypublications.com, and that's where the administrative functions is also rvbaypublications.com, where I've got my copies from. At least take these pictures of so you guys can actually have this for yourselves, all right? Just to see. And again, on page 12, handsomely standing you God is Prophet Noble Drali in his Moor Sharif Fez and Abba. And on page 13, we see the divine warning by the Prophet Noble Drali. All right. The Prophet warns all among governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work in their homes or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We all love truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey. The law is laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and buttons, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Drali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And we're going to cut right to the chase, guys. We're not going to hold you too long on this one. We're going to cut right to the chase. Chapter 41, as it says right there at the bottom of the screen, right? Chapter 41. I'm going to zoom it in so you guys can see that, right? XLI is like saying 10 subtracted from 50 plus 1, which gets you 41, right? X is 10, L is 50, and I is 1, right? So chapter 41. And it's the holy instructions from the prophet in constancy, all righty? And I'm going to yield the floor to our beloved brother in whom we are well pleased, Brother Braveheart L. Islam.
Islam. Holy instructions from the prophet in constancy.
Mm-hmm.
Nature urgeth thee to inconstancy, O man. Therefore, guard thyself at all times against it.
So, look, mind. Look, hey, mind. Nature urges you to inconstancy. It urges you to be inconstant, right? So therefore, you must guard. That sounds like a resolution. Guard yourself at all times, not some of the time, not just, a few times, at all times. Guard yourself against inconstancy. I yield.
Thou art from the womb of thy mother, various and wavering, from the loins of thy father, inheriteth thou instability. How then shalt thou be firm?
So you're from your mother, you're from the womb of your mother, various and waving. So from the womb of your mother, you're various and waving. And from the loins pertaining to your father, it inherits you instability. So how then shall you be firm? It's not saying, it's not a question like, Dad, I can't never be firm. You should never think like that, because I'm telling you, the answer is resolution. Continue. I yield.
Indeed. Those who gave thee a body furnished it with weakness, but he who gave thee a soul armed thee with resolution.
There you go. That's the first time we saying resolution, man. Looky. Yeah. Resolution. I yield.
Employ it, and thou art wise, be wise, and thou art happy.
Correct. So employ it, and you are wise, be wise. You are happy. I yield.
Let him who doeth well beware how he boasteth of it, for rarely is it of his own will.
So let him who does well beware of how he boasts of doing well, for rarely
And
is
then
doing well of his own will. Go ahead.
that made me think of, oh shoot, where is it? I didn't save it. Where Jesus just was like, this here is the will of thy Father that I do. Whatever.
Oh, when Joseph and Mary was looking for him and he was disputing with the doctors of the law, and he said, "Don't you know I be about my Father's business?"
Mm-hmm. Let's see. It's like a John 6:40, and then like Matthew 7:21. It's actually a bunch of different ones I know when I was searching. I was like, that was like an insert in there.
Yeah, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are supposed to be like the four, chapters where you can, or the four books that are supposed to be giving perspective account to the I am identity within being the Messiah or Messiah, right? Are you?
Right. Right. We got 5. Is not the event of an impulse from without, born of uncertainty and forced by accident, dependent on somewhat else. To thee and to accident is due the praise.
Wow. To you and to accident is due the praise. Is not the event of an impulse from sin, right? Without sin, born pertaining to uncertainty and forced by accident, strengthened by accident, dependent on somewhat else, right? In other words, how you even got here, so to speak, or even how, you've done what you're doing. It's saying that, to you and to accident is due the praise. Interesting. And you guys know, like, at first in my studies, I was, all praise is due to Allah. And then in my studies and doing my, meditation, so to speak, as some would say, or my contemplation is what I choose. Allah to me, now in my studies, is all balanced law pertaining to the zodiac. So for me, it's all the praise due to balance. However, I'm not knocking what it's saying here prior to those comprehending that resolution is your answer. I yield, bro. Number 6.
Beware of irresolution and the intent of thy actions. Beware of instability in the execution. So shalt thou triumph over 2 great failings of thy nature.
The 2 great failings pertaining to your nature is instability and irresolution. So when make sure you have resolution in your intent pertaining to your actions, and beware pertaining to the instability in the execution pertaining to your actions. I yield.
What reproacheth reason more than to act contraries? What can suppress the tendencies to these with firmness of mind?
So you want to make reason seem like it's null and void, then you're going to act contrary to reason. And what can suppress the tendencies to reproaching reason by acting, or acting out contrarieties, is to have firmness pertaining to your mind, right? Because then in 2, it says, by you being, various and wavering, by coming from your mother's womb and from the loins pertaining to the process which your mother chose, turned father, inherits you instability. How shall you be firm? Well, boom, there's a little bit of an answer there in 7. See, because then we say exert reason, be prudent, which is what you find in chapter 44, which will allow you to have firmness in mind, obviously, right? So it's some beauty in going from 48 to 1. I'm not saying that that's the prescribed fashion. I'm just saying there's some beauty in reading a book in reverse. A yield.
Right. 8, the inconstant feeleth that he changeth, but he knoweth not why. He seeth that he escapeth from himself, but he perceiveth not how. Be thou incapable of change, and that which is right, and men will rely upon thee.
In other words, be firm in your mind, be solid, be fixed, or another word for fixed is immutable. Immutable. Whereas something that isn't fixed is mutable. Are you?
Yep. At 9, establish unto thyself principles of action.
Principles.
And see that principles of action.
No, you're good.
And
you said it right. I was just ad-libbing.
Principles, and see that thou ever act according to them.
Mm-hmm. Are you?
So shall thy passions have no rule over thee. So shall thy constancy ensure unto thee the good thou possessest, and drive from thy door misfortune. Anxiety and disappointment shall be strangers to thy gates.
Anxiety and disappointment shall be a stranger to your gates, because your passions have no rule over you. And you being constant, your constancy ensures unto you the good you possess and drives from your door misfortune. Are you?
Suspect not evil in anyone until thou seest it. When thou seest it, forget it not.
In other words, look for the best in others and give the best that's in you. However, if someone shows you that they have no best to give and they live backwards, that's what evil is. Live backwards. Forget it not. Are you, bro? Islam?
Whoso hath been an enemy cannot be a friend, for man mendeth not his faults.
I don't even need to add with that
one. How should his actions be right, who hath no rule of his life? Nothing can be just which proceedeth not from reason.
Nothing can be just which proceeds not from reason. So if it's not reasonable, it's not just. So people think that people can be ran off the road by policy enforcers for unreasonable circumstances. Oh, well, this is the reason why. Well, that's not that. What you're calling a reason is not reason, because it has no justice involved in it. It's not just. It's robbery. Are you?
Let's see. The inconstant hath no peace in his soul, neither can be at ease whom he concerneth himself with.
Wow.
His life is unequal. His motions are irregular. His soul changeth with the weather. Today he loveth thee. Tomorrow thou art detested by him. And why?
Wow.
Himself knoweth not wherefore he now hateth.
Because he has no reasoning. He's not exerting reason of being prudent. So therefore he has no resolution to that occurrence. Are you? Remember,
today,
hold on one moment. He, him, his is the feminine principle in action. She, her, hers is the feminine principle potential. So he, him, his is the feminine kinetic. All right, the feminine kinetic. She, her, hers is the feminine potential. So even though you see he and his and him, remember, we all come from mother. Mother is the potential. Son, he, him, his, is mother's potential in action. That's not taken away from us sons. And that's not some symbology either for those of you that may come to listen to us, but have colored listening. I yield.
Mm-hmm. Today he is the tyrant. Tomorrow thy servant is less humble. Why? He who is arrogant without power will be servile while there is no subjection.
And look at that. Look at that. All right.
Today he is profuse.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow he grudgeth unto his mouth that which it should eat. Thus it is with him who knoweth not moderation.
Looky, Astro Cookie. So one day is just 1,000's not enough. But the next day, it's one is too much. Because there isn't moderation though. For moderation would be a resolution. I yield.
Who shall say of the chameleon, quote unquote, he is black, when the moment after the verdure of the grass overspreadeth him?
Correct. Verdure is green. So how can you say a chameleon is pale, right? That's what black denotes, pale or dead, right? Depends on its context. However, black is pale, black is dead, black is also chimpanzee. However, the moment after, you're observing what may be the mood reflected by the chameleon's color, the verdure of the grass, the green pertaining to the grass, which is the chlorophyll made manifest in the grass. He now takes on that quote unquote color, that camouflage, right? All right, bro, I yield. 20.
Who shall say of the inconstant, he is joyful, quote unquote, when his next breath shall be spent in sighing?
Look at that. Why? That sounds like misery. Go ahead.
What is the life of such a man or mind but the phantom of a dream? In the morning he riseth happy. At noon he is on the rack.
And on the rack means he's being like pulled. Like they used to put people on a rack and pull their limbs apart. Go ahead, I yield.
This hour he is a god or a colophon. The next below a worm. One moment he laugheth, the next he weepeth. He now willeth, and an instant he willeth not, and another he knoweth not whether he willeth or not.
Yo, that one's always kind of funny to me, man. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yet neither ease nor pain have fixed themselves on him. Neither is he waxed greater or become less.
And waxed is like, the moon growing in light. So neither is he growing in light or waning in light or becoming less, right? So go ahead, continue.
Neither hath he had cause for laughter or reason for his sorrow. Therefore shall none of them abide with him. The happiness of the inconstant is as a palace built on the surface of the sand. The blowing of the wind carrieth away its foundation. What wonder then that it falleth?
Wow. So it's man, you're happy. The happiness pertaining to the constant is a palace built on sand. As soon as the wind blows, you're gonna watch how your palace falls, and how that goes. So It's up here. Almost complete. Indeed. You can come on in if you want to. It's not a problem with me. What you think about, man? Hey, man.
It's the great baby.
I know, right?
It's the great baby.
It's the great baby, right? So with that being said, yeah, I keep hearing Pico move. He was moving a lot before you came in here. Okay. I was because hearing definitely. Yeah, obviously. He's like, I hear a voice, right? All righty. So hey man, mommy shoulder good? All right. I yield, bro. Listen.
All right, 24. But what exalted form is this, that hitherward directs its uninterrupted course, whose foot is on earth, whose head is above the clouds? On his brow sitteth majesty, steadiness is in his port, and in his heart reigneth tranquility. Though obstacles appear in his way, he deeth not to look down upon them. Though heaven and earth oppose his passage, he proceedeth. The mountains seek beneath his tread. The waters of the ocean are dried up under the sole of his foot.
That's real right there, man. It's really getting into it. It's like 24 is like, but hold up. Besides all that other stuff we just talked about in the other 23 minutes, before this one on 24, is like, but hold up. What exalted form is this? Who that over there? That hitherward directs its even. In other words, that like no matter what, it's just it has an even temper, it has an even way about going about things. It has a balance to it. It's uninterrupted course, whose foot is on the earth. And it's interesting because it made me want to go into the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary and see if we could find foot or feet. I think that would be good to look in. Also, maybe after we finish this, and maybe we can look up the metaphysical for foot, because we already know earth is heart to one extent by viewing chapter 12 in this same book. Earth and heart, it's the same word. It's just earth has the H at the end and heart has the H at the beginning. All right. But his head is above the clouds, which is very interesting because remember, where did we read it? I think it was unto thee I grant, and it was like the tempest, 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 beats up on the rocks and trees, not the sun, moon, and stars, right? Because a tempest is a violent storm. And it makes you think of, an eagle, so to speak, as they say, flies above the storm, right? So it's not getting caught in the storm. So one who has his head above the clouds has his mind set above the storm, which is obviously where resolution must take place. Resolution must take place above the storm, regardless of how much of the storm is beneath resolution. On his brow sitteth majesty. It's kind of taking me back to 28 and 29 in the Quran, chapters 28 and 29. Steadiness is in his port. Port is door, right? Windows to the soul could be eyes. And in his heart, see heart and earth, see that back to back. 24 it says earth, 25 it says heart. Reigns tranquility. So it's just like a chill mode. Brother Sean read 26 and said the obstacles appear in his way. He deigns not to look down upon them. He deigns not. He's like, man, look, my head above the clouds. You know what I mean? Because I'm on a path that's certain. on a path and a destination is certain. Though heaven and earth oppose his passage, he proceeds. Like I just against all laws. Like, that's just what I hear. The mountains sink beneath his tread. So he's even walking across the highest or the height of an obstacle. He's walking past that. In the waters of the ocean, something that could seem deep or make him drown, it doesn't even exist. It reminds me of the Herculean task of when Hercules goes against the Hydra, the 9-headed Hydra. And he thought the resolution was shooting arrows at it and cutting the heads off. And where one head got cut off, 2 more grew. And he didn't recognize until he dropped all his weaponry and just reached down to see where the dragon was rooted and lifted the dragon up out the muck and the mire and held the dragon up to the sun and watched the dragon start to wither away and die. So sometimes we allow ourselves to be like, anybody ever heard that story where there was a tractor trailer got stuck under a bridge, and because obviously the height wasn't high enough for the tractor trailer to pass, and all these grown beings are trying their technology and all their high thoughts to get this truck from under the bridge. Now they're thinking they're going to have to destroy the bridge. And a child walks by. And the child goes, "What's wrong?" And he's like, "Oh, that truck got stuck under the bridge and they can't get it from under it. So they're about to probably, demolish the bridge." And the child goes, "Why don't they just deflate the tires?" That's a resolution-minded being. I yield, bro. 28.
Song. The tiger throweth herself across his way in vain. The spots of the leopard glow against him unregarded. He marcheth through the embattled legions. With his hands he putteth aside the terrors of death.
Look at that, with his hands. I mean, that man can remember, the pen is mightier than the sword. Yo, that's bananas. However, so true. Because instead of getting all up in arms about how you're going to get this tractor trailer from under the bridge, all you got to do is deflate the tires. I yield, bro.
Storms roar against his shoulders, but are not able to shake them.
Whoa, stop. Why do the storms roar against his shoulders? Because his head is where? Above the clouds. Of course they're only going to roar against his shoulders because he's too much having his head above the clouds. I yield.
The thunder bursteth over his head in vain. The lightning serveth but to show the glories of his countenance.
Exactly. It's like, look, man, we spotlight how ill this guy is with this resolution, this mother or son that's putting the feminine principle in action, right? Because it's very
his name.
Resolution is nurturing. But go ahead, I yield.
His name is resolution.
Look at that exclamation point. I yield.
He cometh from the utmost part of the earth.
The utmost part of your heart.
He seeth happiness afar off before him.
Look at that. He looking down the street like, "Hey, yo, that's happiness right there."
Is that happiness from afar?
Flat out.
His eye discovereth her temple beyond the limits of the pole.
Mm, mm. Discovers her temple. Look at that. Looky, Astro Cookie. That is amazing. Who we got coming on in?
Let's see. Hey, Malika.
What's going on, Malika? Peaceful greetings to you.
Hey, brothers.
What's up? What's good? We're almost finished here with chapter 41. Yeah. Kind of going over inconstancy and seeing that you came right in as we finished 31, talking about resolution, right? Which is, I think, just the key when you're exerting reason and being prudent. It will provide you to be one with consistent resolution. All right. I yield, bro. 30.
He walketh up to it. He entereth boldly, and he remaineth there forever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Establish thy heart, O man or mind, and that which is right, and then know the greatest of human is to be immutable,
which means fixed, right? And what are you being fixed in? What are you being immutable to? You're being fixed and immutable to being various and wavering, showing how you inherit instability. You can neutralize being various and wavering and unstable by being resolution minded. Exert reason, be prudent. That is resolution. Exert reason, be prudent. That is your resolution. One more time. Exert reason, be prudent. That is your resolution. All right. And I did want to look up because when we were talking about,
you let me get the screen share. I already got it ready.
You got the foot ready already?
Mm-hmm.
Got you, bro. All right. Stop the screen share. It's on you, bro.
Anita.
Oh, gotcha. I'll give you the co-host. Boom, shakalaka. There you go.
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, JLV says, Crystal, it's like, are we clear on that? And she was responding, Crystal. Sincerely, she says she is serious. Sincerely appreciated Friday's stream. She missed it live, however, though. She listened repeatedly over the weekend, right? Over the strong beginning, full of truth. She puts fire. Mother Sahar says, peaceful greetings to everyone. JLV says the Gospels, quote unquote. And Brother Seven, Judabal Bey says Islam. Islam to you, Brother Seven. All right. I yield, bro.
All right. Feats. Feats represent the phase of the understanding that connects us with the outer or manifest world and reveals the right relationship toward worldly conditions in general. We can take possession of all substance that we comprehend and understand, and the name of I am,
which is Jesus. Go ahead.
This is the meaning of Josh 1:3. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, to you I have given it, as I spake unto Moses.
So feet represent the phase pertaining to the understanding that connects us with the outer or manifest world and reveals the right relationship toward worldly conditions in general. Now that totally changes your mind about Pisces and the age of Pisces and how it should have been carried out, even though we're dealing with, beings who have no resolve, who aren't resolution minded. They sought for themselves to be greedy. Metaphysical, I yield, bro. Because it's going to basically repeat the same thing, sort of, kind of, but it's going to go in a little bit more. So, metaphysical, I yield.
Right? Feet, metaphysical, that phase of our understanding which comes into contact with substance. Consequently, we can take possession of all substance that we comprehend and understand in the name of I am.
I am, the I am identity is Jesus. And we went over that quite a few times, the metaphysical definition to Jesus. Because if you're going into really going into the Bible, you should not be reading the Bible without a metaphysical Bible dictionary. Beliefs are for fools and babies. You guys have to make sure you are being grown minded, because you're looking to have resolution pertaining to who you are, to who ye are within. This is dealing with your consciousness. All right. I yield. This is.
All right. And I'm gonna skip over that one because that was the same thing we read up there. All right. So the feet are the most willing and patient servants pertaining to the body. They go all day at the bidding of the mind, and upon them rests the burden of the thought of materiality. The more we believe in matter, the greater the burden laid upon the feet, and the more tired they become.
I yield. That needs no ad lib.
The denial pertaining to materiality is illustrated in the washing of the disciples' feet by Jesus in John 13:5-10. Even Peter, spiritual faith must be cleansed from belief in the reality of material conditions.
Cleansed from what?
From belief in the
Cleansed
reality.
From what?
From belief in the reality of material conditions.
You got to be cleansed from belief in the reality of material conditions. Cleansed. That's a baptism. I yield.
To wash the feet seems a menial thing.
Yeah, menial. It's not a menial thing. Some people are like, I ain't washing nobody's feet. But it's one of the greatest things you can do, especially when people come to your house. If you are that spiritually strong, there's nothing wrong with washing people's feet that come to your house. I'm telling you, it'll change the whole experience, not only for you, but for those that come to your home. If you ever exercised that before, I'm speaking from experience at points of time in my life. I yield.
But in this humble way, Jesus taught and exemplified the willingness of the divine love to serve, that man or mind may be redeemed from the pride of the flesh. There had been contention among the disciples as to who should sit at the master's right and who at his left in the kingdom. Jesus was putting an end to this strife by bringing home to his followers the truth that he who willing performs lowly, humbly service for others with no thought for personal distinction is greatest in God's or the call upon's kingdom.
Man, that's bars right there, bro. Can you imagine some brothers out there or mothers that are, willingly performing lowly, humble service for others with no thought of personal distinction? They're just, I'm just brother so-and-so, or I'm just sister so-and-so. I'm not nobody great. I don't have this grand title and I'm doing this for you. Can you imagine people out there like that? Those are some great people into Calaban's kingdom. Go ahead, I yield.
All right. Here we go. Jesus signifies the I am, and the feet represent that phase of the understanding which connects one with the outer or manifest, world and reveals the right relationship toward worldly conditions in general. The washing of the disciples' feet by Jesus or the I Am, therefore, typifies a cleansing process or a denial of personality and materiality.
Look at that. Look at that. So there's no way, shape, or form no one can be spiritually in tune unless they're comprehending the metaphysics. And for me, no matter what school of thought I went into, I didn't comprehend fully the metaphysics until declaring and proclaiming my nationality and meeting Prophet Noble Drew in his literature without looking for a distinct title, without looking for any aggrandizement or quote unquote financial award or reward. Alrighty. So I will say that even earlier, before we got started, I was like, bro, like, what did you get out of chapter 41 just reviewing it? And I'm telling you, for me to always be one that's resolution minded, it's always made me just ask what seems like the hard questions, but I get straight to the point because I would like the resolution. I don't need to be dragged around the mulberry bush just for someone to either show me they don't know, or they're just saying, hey, I need this certain amount of finance for you to get this. And then I find out after exchanging the finance that they have no resolution themselves. Right. And so that's why I'm like, this is important, because resolution, you'll be able to continuously show proof. Right. And the best proof to have, first and foremost, is one being able to control themselves instead of trying to control the material things outside of self. Right. So before we close on out, well, the portion that you heard coming in, Malika, what do you think? If you're there. What do you think, Malika, for the portion that you've heard? Brother Dark Blash Bay says, renewing of the mind. Look at that. So renewing, that's called metanoia in the Greek. In the Metaphysical Bible, it also says metaphysical noia, which is interesting. But metanoia, meta, change. Noia, mind. Right? So in the English, I think it's been called repentance. Right? To repent. So with that being said, the best repentance is for us to comprehend that we need to know what the foundation of things are so that we can better have resolution for ourselves. What will make you various and wavering and unstable, right? Or be one that inherits instability, is not having a firmness in your mind pertaining to what something is and what something is not. All right. Any questions, comments, and suggestions, Brother Sean? I see the lights going off over there.
Well, I just went and looked repentance, which it's like so many gems, like
Go ahead.
just go into it, just read it, yo. But I can share it. Hold on.
Yeah, go and share, and then we'll close out and do the invocation out, bro.
So let me zoom in. It's right there at the bottom, as you can see in yellow. All right, so metaphysical. The Greek word, as bro just said, metaphysical knowing, is translated repentance, quote unquote, which has been interpreted to mean an admission to the call upon of sorrow for past sin and a resolve to be good in the future. The field of action for that which has been assumed to be goodness in the sight of the call upon has nearly always been in conduct.
Wow. In conduct. Go ahead.
The whole Christian world has in a measure failed to discern the teaching of the New Testament about mental laws.
Look at that. So it's not just the outward show, because as you think, then you'll be. So your conduct is based on your thinking. New Testament means new body, mind. Testis, body, menti, mind. So the old body and mind is in material consciousness. The Old Testament is material consciousness. The New Testament, the new body and mind, is spiritual consciousness. I yield.
All right, that's like a super as above, so below.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. A proper translation of the mission of John the Baptist, which is just the forerunner. When you go, look those up, right, is he came into all the region round about Jordan, which once again, you go look that up. I mean, you just gotta like break each word, right?
Jordan is a river, and the river is a stream of thoughts. Go ahead, I yield.
Mm-hmm. Preaching immersion and mentation for the doing away with shortcoming.
Mm-hmm.
Medical physical noia means change of mind, middle mind, transformation of the mind, change of thought and purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Baptism means to immerse in the element, any element, to a complete saturation. One can be immersed in a transformed mind as well as in water.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, it is plain that the mission of John was to bring about a change of the mind.
Look at that.
The fundamental idea is not so much sorrow as a change. A change, however, be it observed, not merely of conduct, but of the thinking and moral part of man or mind.
Mm-hmm.
In connection with this, see baptism, and especially the baptism of John the Baptist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So with that, right?
And there's
Go ahead. You good?
I would say, yeah, they can get that, right? I was about to see if there's a little bookmark. I don't know if there's it's not in my iBooks, but I got it in my mind, so.
Yeah, what page is it? What PDF page is that?
That was PDF page 800.
Okay, I can remember that, right? 800, right? And look at that. So shout out to Brother Jaguar Bey for bringing up renewing of the mind. JLV says, hey, Malika.
Malika on silent. Malika silent.
Yeah, she's probably in all ears though. So that's good. Well, we're going to yield, and we thank Malika for joining us, guys. I think I saw Malika had advertised something too for. I think it was
dealing with those who are current on mortgages, right? That's hasn't or not behind, but dealing with that.
The servicer. I think that's what she called it. Sue the servicer. So those of you guys that want to get into exercising jurisprudence, that's why we call lawful living amongst ourselves. We call lawful living the jurisprudence gym. All righty. However, I know my stance is firm. So for those of us that are Moorish American, you already know you have a certain foundation, or at least you should, so that when you go to any place, whether it's a platform that's not Moorish American or is Moorish American, you should be able to conduct yourself accordingly and be able to do what is necessary for you to be able to exercise jurisprudence in your favor. All right. And because like Brother Asir said on Friday, when Moorish Americans, those of us that are sincere Moorish Americans that sincerely studied, right, and sincerely allowed ourselves to absorb our culture and be who we're supposed to be, no matter what organization we go to, and like Mother Ra said, I'm gonna quote Mother Ross Mariah V. Bey here, you go in to something being a Moor, and you make sure you come out being a Moor also. Because when we go into any situation, we usually are at the top of it. We don't have to wait 2 years to be promoted somewhere. 9 times out of 10, we can be promoted in a fortnight or less, considering that we have the civilization principles under our belt. We don't speak connotatively, nor do we conduct ourselves connotatively either. So with that being said, any other questions, comments, and or suggestions before I yield? I am Brother Sean. And we thank Malika again for joining us. So guys, remember rvbaypublication.com. It's where we got our start, and we continue to go back and look at, things, at times also. It's in our studies to review, because, when you go back and look at things even from, a few years ago, it just rings differently, based on your growth and where you are. 7healstar.com, guys, sign up for our email list. So, every Thursday you'll get the email from us pertaining to our Monday and Wednesday presentations. Wednesday being the highlighted presentation or the headlining presentation, even though Intuition Mondays are fire also. And for those of you that are not lazy and can exercise jurisprudence and strengthen your comprehension, join lawfulliving.com so that you can be a part of the jurisprudence gym and jurisprudently exercise with us. All right. So with that, we're going to yield the floor after extending all 5 appendages on the left hand, just the index and middle on the right, going to face east, which is metaphysically symbolic to going within. And we can repeat after Brother Sean, either aloud or in our hearts. Islam.
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 Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Noble Drew Ali.
Noble Drew Ali.
Ameen.
Ameen. Indeed, indeed, guys. I thank you all so much. Make sure you get your rest and recharge on, and you'll see I am Brother Sean for Intuition Monday coming on up. What are we going in on? Is it the Cancerian ingress?
Let me see. Just 1 second.
It can't be Sun ingress Cancer that quick.
Quick. Saturn retrograde. Would you look at
Saturn retrograde. That's what we're going in on. Indeed, we're going in on Saturn retrograde. Brother Derek Blashbay says, love and respect, brothers, for sharing. Lesson 41, peace in Islam. And to you all, we love you all. Enjoy your rest and recharge, and we'll see you for Intuition Monday for the Saturn retrograde for all 12 astrological regions pertaining to Midgard, Earth Plane, Asha. And this is where we say, on behalf of Brother Corey Bey, Brother Terrell Tamari Bey, Brother Malika Bey, Brother Sean Ali Mel, and Brother Hasan, that's I, Hasan Ghaziel Bey. Thank you again, Malika, for joining us and bringing your energy also, right? And so it's also a reminder for us to let the people know, come to the Jurisprudence Gym, all righty? Tuesdays and Thursdays for your Friends-in-Law Bible study. All righty. And with that, we're going to say to you all, namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, 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 y'all. Peace.